Hey guys, first of all, I'm really sorry about it's not within my control. The internet connection seemed to be cutting off rapidly today while I was trying to do my live stream, but still, I should have, I guess, done something to avoid that. What I do figure, however, is in order to stop that from happening in the future, I'm using Wi-Fi here in my studio. I don't have a direct line internet, which is possibly a part of the reason why when it gets to doing a live stream, the internet connection seems to drop out here and there, and that's just unacceptable. I don't want to deliver an inferior product since you guys um, honor me by actually listening to my show, trying to tune in. I'm the one who invited you. It's my responsibility to provide a superior the best product that I can possibly provide you with, and I want to do that, and that's why until I can figure out a way how to uh, permanently strengthen my internet connection by getting either a Wi-Fi boost range booster or whatever you call it, or trying to somehow get an extended cable connection from another room to this studio to get you a better internet connection so that I can stream without any interruptions. Until that happens, however, I'm afraid that I'm going to have to do as I'm doing right now and record video and then resort to uploading the pre-recorded videos to YouTube. It's not really gonna make much of a difference. However, if you want to interact with me and if you want to ask me questions that you want answered during my show, um, the only way we could achieve that is if you were to send me those questions or comments to my Twitter, which is hashtag Andre underscore main, or my email address, and I actually have two email addresses. I have to refer to my business card here to actually tell them to you because they're new. The email address, one of them is amradioshow@gmail.com, another one is andremainradio@gmail.com. So, or you can send me a comment on my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/amradio. It is, isn't it? It's slash AM radio show on Facebook. But you would probably know that already, so. And anyway, I certainly look forward to getting your comments, getting your questions, and then tackling those questions that are on your mind. Doing as much research about them before I start giving out facts. But if you wanna know my opinion, I'm a man of principle. I don't base my opinion solely on facts. And now people are gonna say, oh, so you know, this guy isn't a factual guy. He he bases his answers basically on bullshit. Well, it's not. It's not. I don't base my opinions on BS. I speak from the heart, really. Now, when I hear something, when I hear a story, I don't immediately go into overdrive brainstorm mode and say, okay, let's take everything into consideration. Let's dissect it, into 100 little bits and pieces, and then process every piece of information, and then come to a conclusion on whether this is a good thing or a bad thing. Now, as I told you, I have a moral code. If you don't like to refer to it as a moral code, because it's probably not an appropriate way to call it anyway, since I'm not religious, it's probably a better way to call it as fundamentals. I have principles and fundamentals, and I like to base my opinions and judgments on those fundamentals and those principles of good and bad, right and wrong. It's as simple as that. You needn't look much past your heart to know what's right and what's wrong. If someone tells me a story about abortion, wrong. If someone tells me a story about suppression of free speech, wrong. If someone tells me a story about I don't know. What is good? What is good these days? Well, there are many things that are good. If you tell me a story about people standing up for themselves, right? That's great. That's great. It just comes out of me like this. When you have a moral set of principles. You already know what's right and what's wrong. Now, facts are just there to further support your argument. So I may not be a walking encyclopedia on all the facts about every single possible uh, topic there is, but if I get into if I want to discuss something with you, I will look up the facts so that I don't say something wrong, so that the left side of the wrong side of the argument doesn't start picking out and saying, oh, you got this statistic wrong, so you're all you're saying is just BS. Well, no, I'm speaking from out of principles, and I, you know, want to share my values with all of my listeners, because telling you the statistic and the statistics and how much money a policy is costing, things like that change daily, and all you need to do to know that is just look at the news. They will read it to you from the teleprompter. The mindless, the news readers who are completely deprived of their own input, they just read and they tell you those boring statistics. And sometimes it's really fascinating, those statistics, how much the NBN is costing, for example. The numbers are certainly not a laughing stock, but I do more than that. I do more than just. I don't read from I don't have a script. I don't have a teleprompter. I have nothing like that. I'm just telling you how I feel about an issue, and usually my feelings about issues are like this, instantaneous. It's just you tell me a story. Tell me 200 stories. One story every minute, and I'll tell you that minute how I feel about that story, and I have to go dissect every single bit and piece of that, because that way you get nowhere. And people who claim that they're sitting on the fence, that they're middle ground, that they are rational people, they're on the left. They just don't want to admit it because they don't want to offend anybody. They just want to stray away as much as possible from any kind of criticism, any kind of controversy, and they attack us, people like myself, for having a slightly more for having a backbone, basically, for having a point of view, as opposed to what they're doing is avoiding a point of view at all costs and just saying, well, there's this, but there's that, you know. Let's see if I can find a fundamental. Let's see if I'm using the word fundamental too much. Let's see if I can find a particular example of what I'm trying to explain here. What's the recent story that I was talking about? Oh yeah. Joe Hockey was grilled by the Australian finance, the PM's accountant, the finance minister, whatever his official title is. He was grilled by this, very unfairly attacked by a British journalist. Well, all right. So he was doing his job. They say he was doing his job, but the kind of questions that he was asking were the kind of questions that no one would have been prepared to answer. I mean, asking the questions that have to do with looking forward into the future, 10 years and such. No one can give you anything close to a correct answer on a question such as that. But and how can I use this to point out where, well, there were many people who were sitting on the fence, or who were saying that they were sitting on the fence. When I went to the treasurer's defense there a little bit, I didn't completely defend everything he had to say. Maybe it'll be easier if I could just find the story. I'll try and find the story, and then I'll go to my comments and I'll tell you what I actually said. It grilled. Joe Hockey grilled. Someone posted it on YouTube. Okay. Alright, basically talking about how the title of the video is Budget Emergency. So the budget emergency is what we're dealing with, apparently, in federal treasury, running out of money because it's being excessively spent on this program and that program and every program under the sky. And a lot of those programs were introduced by the Labour government. Now, I don't always defend the Liberal government. The liberal government is introducing a bunch of new unnecessary, what I feel to be unnecessary programs, because any kind of government program is pretty much unnecessary. If you, the more people you tax, the more people will have to fall back and rely on these programs, because the more people, the more you take the money away from people, the more money people need in order to survive. You take the money away, what are they going to do? They're going to need money, so they're going to fall back and rely on the government programs. It's just a cycle of making people reliant on the government. I don't think it's good. I think the fewer government programs, the better. And in that regard, I don't think even the liberal government is exactly on the right track here. As I said many times, I believe in a minimalist. I don't think I've said minimalist, but I do. I believe in a minimalist libertarian government in Australia and in everywhere. You know, the smaller the government, the better, and the fewer government programs, the better, and the smaller taxation, the better. Now I'm gonna find my comments that I posted. There are now many comments, so it might be hard to find. Let's see. If I don't find it in the next 10 seconds, I'm gonna give up. Wow, and let me just tell you, I couldn't find my comments here. Maybe they were, I don't know. Maybe they were removed by the poster of the video because he disagreed with my views. But a lot of this, look at this, hate-mongering speech. This guy Phil White said, the leering, sneering sociopath. I mean, that's the kind of language that these people throw around. It doesn't really matter to them. They could care less what the liberal government's treasurer is saying, what his stance is on anything. They just say things like fat F word. They say mean things. I hope he dies. All that stuff. You know, the kind of stuff that you're used to hearing from the left. It's just, it bothers me personally. You know, it goes against my principles that I was just talking about there. You know, I look at this, how the left treat the right, and it doesn't go vice versa. It doesn't go like that the other way around. Hardly anyone ever from the right will resort to that kind of language. And people from the left, they always think that they're in the right to, and that it's justifiable for them to call people on the conservative side of politics names and all that stuff. It is totally wrong. Well, I couldn't find my comments. The point is, now I was relying on finding the comments to tell you exactly what I was talking about, but I was pointing out some issues about the budget, about the as I've mentioned, how I don't 100% agree with all the policy making that they have, but there are some positives, and I went on to list the positives there, but they they just don't they don't care about that. And I've had to endure, not that it bothered me personally, because I'm not bothered with this sort of crap, but they went full steam against me, a lot of them. I kept getting notifications on my Google account that I had like 10 consecutive responses to a comment that I had made, and they were all attacking and hateful, and I never mentioned one thing that was hateful or attacking to anyone. I said something about the left-wing media bias, and that was enough to spark a big avalanche of criticism. Now, I think we can all be civilized and treat each other with respect that we all as human beings deserve. We don't regardless of what your opinion is in a certain policy, you still deserve respect because you're a human being. I believe that. I believe you also have the right to disagree with everything, to have your own opinion on everything. But it's your right. It's not my place to tell you to F off or whatever, the kind of language that is very commonplace with unfortunately the leftists who go trolling on the internet, attacking people, such as the treasurer. Any sort of mention of his name is enough to give you like 50 odd comments with the F word in it, referring to him as an individual. And that is just completely wrong because they don't know him. They don't know me. They don't know him. I don't make those kind of comments about anybody. If someone is a hypocrite, if someone is lying, if someone is telling BS, then I call them on that. But I don't go into personal attacks. Although I'm not personally offended by personal attacks, I don't take it seriously. these people, they don't know what they're talking about. They're childish. I could care. I'm not personally offended by it at all. It's just I don't like that this is so commonplace that people offend each other like this. You know, it really takes away from the possible uh, discussion that we could have to actually make some ground. Now, a lot of these people don't want to make any grounds. They don't want to. They don't want to lean across the aisle or anything like that, as John McCain would have said. Lean across the aisle. They don't. They have their mind set already. I'll give you another example, where I can't point out the stubbornness of a left winger. I had this guy on my Facebook page. Well, I added him as a friend because some of the people from the Republican movement who liked my page and they were mutual friends with me were also mutual friends with him, and so I sent him a friend request. And all right, I didn't know what kind of guy he was. He was also a member of the Republican movement. That in itself doesn't say much. It was wishful thinking of me to hope that he was a rational person as well. Just because someone's in the Republican movement or whatever movement doesn't necessarily mean everyone's the same. Right? No two people are the same ever. So anyway, I added him as a friend, and he posted a story. I'll show you the story. It's actually I redid the story on my own Facebook page, and I put my own spin on it. I covered it how it should have been covered in the first place. He posted this picture here. I don't know if you can see it. Actually, I'm gonna share the screen. I'm gonna share the screen with you. Just give me a second. There we go. Okay. So, this is it. No, this one. Obviously, this is not how he posted it. He posted the picture without this stuff that I added later, and he said, evil, greedy corporate right-wing corporations will take away our forests out of our cold dead hands, something like that, And he was using names, and well, I kind of wanted to, because I have an opinion of my own, and you can see right here what my opinion on this is. I respectfully educated this person that there are more trees now than there were 100 years ago, and the reason for that, and I gave him resource, and I justified my claims, but the reason for that is commercial deforestation, that it's renewable, and that if you're in the business of doing anything, if you're in the business of selling trees, when you run out of trees, are you going to get out of business? Well, yeah, unless you're planting new trees, but no one wants to get out of business. So you sell trees, you run out of trees. Before you do, you plant more trees so you can sell more trees. You can keep selling them forever. And the more you sell, the more people buy, the more demand there is. It's just an escalating process. The more people get into the tree cutting and selling business, the more trees they're going to be growing. And that's the reason why there are more trees today than there were 100 years ago, and that's a scientifically proven fact. And well, this person just lashed out against me and came onto my page. Let's see where I can find the comment here. He said, I don't like AM radio, I hate the radio. He said all kinds of rubbish, basically. This guy, what's his name? Brandon Day. He said all kinds of rubbish. And that's my point about the left side of the people who are on the left side of the politics usually have this approach. They want to attack you. They want to bury you before they bury your argument, because they know that they don't stand a chance on defeating you ideologically, from a scientific point of view or from any other point of view, because they are usually in the wrong. And if they are on the losing side in terms of numbers, in terms of logic, in terms of all that, they're going to keep fighting, but they're going to start attacking you personally. And that's just the kind of thing that you get, you have to be used to, you have to be prepared for, and you have to not give a damn, basically. I'm just telling you out there not to. I don't want to see a bunch of, you know, good-hearted, conservative, libertarian thinkers be strayed away from taking the approach that I'm taking, which is voicing your concerns about the issues that are affecting our society and direction in which our society is headed. If you have those concerns, please do raise them. Don't just, sit in the corner, avoid any conflict, avoid being called names because I don't want to be called names, oh, this person is mean. They are mean. That's the kind of people they are. We need to stand up to them, and we need to point these things out to them. And, even if we do, they're still not going to listen, but let's get it off our chest. Let's get it out there because they certainly don't shy away from, throwing their idiotic sides of the argument. Why should we? Why should we, who are right about these things, back away from anything? And the more we stand together, the more we voice our opinions, our concerns, the more the more chance there is that there's actually going to be something done about it in politics, as opposed to just wishful thinking. The left are the ones who are most voiced, most opinion. Well, I wouldn't say opinionated as much as manipulated, but they're the ones who voice their views as long as they may be on global warming or whatever. Pretty much everything, every view that they have on the left is wrong. And well, that's why they're the left and not the right. But anyway, the upper hand that they unfortunately have on us is that they don't shy away from voicing their opinions, and that's why more and more people join their cause, not because they 100% necessarily agree on everything they say, but because they don't want to be discriminated and they want to be shunned away by the rest. They see that this is a popular movement. There are people who have guts to stand up and talk, say what they want, pressure the government to do this and that and the other thing, and this is a movement. When you're like that, when you have a movement like that, who are you going to side with? Who is the average Joe Schmo going to side with? People who are like that, who are persuasive, who are mandating that you stand up and that you feel guilty about your conscience for destroying the environment and this and that, and pouring all this guilt into you, and getting all these celebrity friends of theirs, their rich celebrity friends who are pouring millions of dollars into these causes, to side with them. If you don't side with them, you're not hip, you're not cool, you're a bigot, you're a racist, you're this and that, you're a earth hater, if you don't agree with them on 100% of their gay marriage policy, you're a bigot and a hater and all that stuff. So instead of just taking that lip, or sitting in the corner doing nothing, I'm the voice that we are supposed to. I'm not saying follow me. No. I'm just trying to inspire other people to do the same. Stand up and say, well, wait a second, you're out of line and you're wrong. I disagree with you. I want people to voice their disagreeing points of view. Now I don't have anything against, for instance, gay people. I have gay friends, but what do I think about gay marriage? There is no such thing. There is no such thing as gay marriage. Marriage, by definition, is between a man and a woman. What I think would be a good idea would be that the government gets out of the marriage regulating business altogether. It would open the doors to gay people if they want to, found their own church, so that they can, the Church of Saint Gay or whatever, so that they can have their gay marriages, and that would be okay with me. It would be totally fine with me. But to mandate to the Roman Catholic Church to change their ways, I don't think there's going to be much success doing that. However, what we can mandate is that the government gets his grubby hands off off our rights, which are marriage. They shouldn't regulate who can or can't get married. Period. The government shouldn't have anything to do with that. If the homosexuals want civil service and they're happy with that, perfect. I think you already have that option of having civil service, having the same rights. If they want to have marriage, it goes beyond the politics and the government. well, it doesn't completely go beyond. If the government got completely out of the marriage regulating business, it would still be up to the church, in which case they could make their own church. But anyway, other ways in which the government has its grubby hands on our rights is our right to defend ourselves, or what we can eat, what we can drink, no trans fats, no saturated fats, no smokes, no banning alcohol after 10 o'clock. You can't buy alcohol, trying to phase out sale of all cigarettes, increasing constantly, annually increasing tax on alcohol and cigarettes, and what everything else there is under the sun, everything under the blue sky. They want to get their grubby hands on and tell you can do this, you can do that. Now march, left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot. They unfortunately there are way too many people who want to tell you what to do, and I'm against those people 1,000%. As long as there are people out there trying to control our lives and people like that in power, I'm gonna voice my concern about that and my anger toward that. And I'm gonna encourage people to kick those kind of totalitarians out of their positions. That was basically my rant. My rant in regards to the hypocrisy from the left. That was part one, and part two was basically how I started the show today by by explaining my libertarian views and what my libertarian views actually mean. It means this small minimalist government, minimum government regulation on how you live your life, what you do. It's only your business. What you do is completely up to you. It's not up to them. They shouldn't be allowed to meddle into anyone's business. And the most important thing is that we stand up and we voice our concerns. If we feel oppressed, if we feel that the government is making us do this and that, but they're not listening to our concerns, and people on the left are well voiced, but we on the right are undervoiced. What would be the word for that? We don't promote our goals like we should, like they do, like the others do. The progressives always advance their agenda. They protest. They say, save the rainforest, down with corporate tyranny. And they say all kinds of stuff all the time. Climate change, save the sharks. But we don't do that. We don't. We seem to be a very mild kind generally speaking, with the exception of a handful of people. I'm obviously not like that. And if you're listening to me, you're interested in this being a big problem, then I applaud you, because you're exactly the kind of person that I'm doing this show for. I'm doing this show in order to scout out and find people who are like you, who are proud and of having holding an opinion that someone might deem controversial. What it's all about, guys, is promoting our right to stand for free speech, and that's why we need to be a republic. We need to have a Bill of Rights. We need to have free speech guaranteed and all these other rights guaranteed. The Second Amendment, the 10th Amendment, to keep the federal government's hands off meddling with the state governments and all that other stuff. Anyway, guys, thank you for listening to my show today. I'm sorry about the technical issues I had with my live stream. I will continue to do these shows every day, and I'll try and have them uploaded to my YouTube account by noon, until I figure out how to sort out the internet connectivity problem. I'll refrain from doing it live and only do pre-recorded uploads. Do the pre-recorded uploads, because that's the only way I can guarantee you that there won't be any cutouts, and that you can have a pleasant listening experience. All right, thank you for joining me, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Take care.